Shekhar, tell me something. AI is a huge thing that's coming into films, creative arts. What are your first thoughts on the fact that AI is coming in?
It's going to be a challenge for everyone, but it's a challenge that I think we all welcome. The simple reason that it'll democratize, in my field, filmmaking, because a kid in Dharavi now, say any slum in India, he's 15-year-old, he doesn't need to learn the whole process of filmmaking. Sora and any other new software that's coming in, he can just type, he can just talk, and the film will be made. So it depends on how creative he is. He doesn't need to go through all the techniques of filmmaking. So I think AI is the greatest, the new existential change that is going to take place in our society. And I think it's for the good.
Like you said, it'll give maybe platforms to a lot of people on different stratas and different skill sets to be able to make a film. But what will it do to the people who are making the film? Wouldn't they lose jobs? Would they become redundant? What would they do?
Well, in the movie business, we face redundancy with every film that we do. If a film doesn't do well, we become redundant all the time. So it's a big challenge, and I think that we should all feel very happy to have new challenges. It'll make us better. It'll make us work harder, more creative, because these kids that'll come in and make all these films, they'll provoke us. They'll bring different ideas in, they'll bring different kinds of storytelling in that'll challenge us. So I look forward to that challenge. It makes me a better filmmaker, or I become redundant. It's fine. Then if I'm redundant, obviously I've not accepted the challenge. It's not a question of me losing my job. It's a question of me not accepting the challenge.
But I get what you're saying. So I get to understand the fact that, new ideas, new storytelling, new methods of storytelling, all of that is again, stemming from the idea aspect of it. What way I'm looking at it, it's a point of view, it's an idea. But then there are physical actions involved in making a film. Like there is a director who directs, there's a human touch. There's an actor who acts because he loves the craft, he loves this facing the camera, he likes to see himself on big screen. Then there's a musician who creates the background music. Now, if all of that is being done by AI, they can take an Amitabh Bachchan and create in his AI version. All of that, won't it become too plasticky?
We assume it'll become plasticky. We don't know. I don't think it'll become plasticky. I think that because new voices come in, it cannot become more plasticky. Old voices will be challenged. Your other point about, composers and musicians and all of them having to find other things to do, don't forget they also have AI. It's not like, I'll give you an example. I've seen it all. I remember when tractors came in. Everybody said, farmers, what will they do? They'll be out of jobs. When computers came in, they said, everybody's going to lose their job. It doesn't happen like that. AI goes to everyone. And everyone finds a new way to do things. That's why it's such an existential change. But jobs is a very antiquated term. Right? It came with the Industrial Revolution, and we still found there are those people sitting on the top, and the rest are all workers' jobs. Right? I was sitting with a friend in a restaurant, and he said, "Oh, my company, everybody lose jobs." I said, "Wait. Behind you in this restaurant is a cleaning lady. Do you see her?" I said, "Yes." I said, "She's waiting for us to leave, right? She's irritated." He said, "Yeah, I can see that." I said, "Let's ask her if she likes her job." What do you think she's going to say? She's going to say, "No, I don't like my job." Let's ask her if she wants change. She's going to say yes. I said, that's 95% of the population of this world that are doing jobs are going to say, "We don't like the jobs, they're very boring, or we don't just have to do them. And would you like change?" They'll say, "We love change." That's it. Each one of them will get AI. Each one of them will be able to explore their full potential. Maybe that cleaning lady is a better filmmaker than me. Maybe that cleaning lady is a poet. Maybe that cleaning lady can use AI to create a new company. That's possible. In a company has a pyramidal structure like this. There's a CEO, and right at the bottom there are that cleaning lady. Right? The AI will give that cleaning lady the same tools to think, to create, to do her job, same as a CEO. Now, in that company, she'll challenge the CEO. That's what I'm looking forward to. That pyramidal structure will go. Everybody will have an opportunity to fully explore their potential. And ultimately, just like computers did, or tractors did, there is growth, there is potential, things move forward.
True, but there are a lot of people, especially in the strata that you're talking about, like the cleaning lady, who are working also to earn, right? They earn money. So, and what you are saying is also true, because you're saying that, with coming with new technology, there will be new entrepreneurs who will be doing new things. But there will be a period where there will be job losses, and there will be people who will suffer because of no money coming in, and because they will be laid off, and those who can step up and take the challenge would probably look to see how to use the technology. But those, maybe like that 60-year-old, may not be able to take the challenge, and therefore, if she loses her job, she loses the money, and she's losing the people whom she's taking care of. Their lives get impacted. So there is going to be a job loss in that sense.
Let's replace the word job losses with job changes. The moment you say job changes, and let's go back to see if digital actually did that. It didn't. Everybody said the same thing about computers. Arey, computers aa gaye. All those people sitting in the offices doing their clerical work, they'll all lose their jobs. They didn't. They actually progressed. They found other ways to do it very fast. Yes, there will be people who are not willing to change, who are not willing to take up the challenge. But I would say that the moment we human beings, we're not born to do one thing. We are born to explore. Everybody says, oh, Mr. Kapur, Shekhar, you're so creative. I said, tell me who's not? Who is not creative? Watch any child, watch people. We are creative beings. So the moment we are challenged or get the tools for creativity, suddenly our creativity comes up. I can't get into a lift anywhere in India without lift. I say, sir, I have a song. Sir, I have a story. Everybody, India especially, let's just talk about India. India is a land of storytelling. And suddenly AI comes in and you are telling a story. You are changing your story. You're telling your story in a different way. Now, the moment you look at it like that, you say, yeah, there's a new world coming that we in India, we could take advantage of that.
So as a filmmaker, if you find that 8-year-old boy staying in this, little chawl in Mumbai, making this fantastic film because of a very good idea and then using the AI tool, as a filmmaker, what will it do to you in the sense of, will you explore the idea or will you explore the technology?
Well, I will have to find some way to compete with the 8-year-old boy. I will appreciate the 8-year-old boy. I'll learn from how that 8-year-old boy perceives life, or perceives things, or their creativity. After all, who's ruling me? My audience. They will, if they don't like my film, they'll make me redundant like that. So I'm constantly being challenged, if not by that 8-year-old boy that has AI, by my audiences, right? So I'm not afraid of it. Yes, people are getting very afraid of it because there's this fear factor of those people that are afraid of change. As I said, 95% of the people go to the street, see a person selling, chana, here, do you want change in your life? They'll say yes. And entrepreneurship, and we keep talking about India being this great startup economy. All startup is created by need also. We keep thinking of startup because that if you want to make money, you go out, you go to the wholesale market, buy some vegetables, go to the retail market, sell them. That's entrepreneurial activity. That's a startup, right? So we do it all the time.
So I also agree with you when you said, the guy sitting on top is scared because now he'll be equal. And which I agree with you, it will be the case even where the film guys are concerned. Because if that 8-year-old boy can make the film, then what will it do to big reputed filmmakers who will be like, oh my God, I'm competing now with. Yeah. So has any conversation like this started within the Hindi film industry?
No, not yet, because it's Sora, this new, Sora has suddenly thrown everybody because everybody thought it'll look like bad animation. Suddenly, this new software is out that says it looks fantastic. And people say, oh, can they beat Amitabh Bachchan? Can they beat Shah Rukh Khan? Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan became a brand, but the biggest brands have never been human beings. The biggest brands were created by Walt Disney 100 years ago, and they've lasted 100 years, right? All Donald Duck has been going on for 100 years, right? Now, had he had AI tools, he would have not created Donald Duck. He might have created a human being that became a brand. You know, when we read comic books as kids, I used to read comic books, they were just animations, and we fell in love with them. We can equally fall in love with an actor created by AI. We keep saying, oh, we don't need to copy Shah Rukh or Amit ji. No, we don't. AI can create its own stars, like we did with comic books. We all read comic books, and then that image, we fell in love with an image on a comic book.
But like you said, you mentioned Sora, you know, it's come and everybody is very much on their mobiles, and everybody is, you know, there are a lot of people, actors who are very digitally, you know, savvy, and they know what's happening around the world. So I'm again, therefore I wanted to know this, is there no conversation in the film industry?
I haven't had it because it's very recent. You know, it's a few weeks old, right? Also remember that technology creates its own viewing, right? We make 3-hour films, or we have an interval film, not because we always want intervals, because they have to sell popcorn, right? And theatrical films have developed a form because of the technology of how we show films, right? AI will develop its own form and create its own audience. Audiences will also increase, right? It's not the same audience that will constantly go, right? OTT platforms came and everybody said, cinema is dead, and cinema is suddenly alive all over the world, is doing so well. So all OTT platforms did was increase the size of an audience, but by creating a different way of viewing it, that audience came. It actually replaced novels. It replaced reading, right? Now AI will come and create a different form of filmmaking, and it'll find its own audience. You know, it's a long time before an AI film gets to the theater, right? But before that, it'll create an audience, half-an-hour films, short films, maybe on your mobile. It'll start on the mobile, then it'll go on to television, and finally, if somebody wants to, it may go into theaters.
It's same with OTT, you know, when Netflix and all started, I mean, even the awards like Oscars, they were ignoring them, and now look where Oscars are, you know, were hosted on the platform.
They have to.
Yes, they've accepted them.
Because every new technology creates its own culture of viewing, and it attracts people. Like, kahan jate the film? You know, families used to go to watch films once a month, twice a month. Now they're watching OTT every day. Every actor I know is busy.
And separately, everybody has their own choice and they choose. I want to, coming to choice in your films, you told me two very interesting stories, and I want to know that about yours. You had an AI interaction where you talked about Mr. India 2. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Both. I asked for a sequel to Masoom, and I said, how about Mr. India 2? 15 seconds it took Chat GPT. Well, Mr. India 2 was my houseboy. He wanted to challenge me, and you know, he said, "Oh, sahab, dekhiye, look, Mr. India 2 ki kahani." I immediately knew he had used ChatGPT. It was a fascinating story. But Masoom.
No, first tell me the story about Mr. India. What did the ChatGPT?
It said it used Shah Rukh Khan. It said Shah Rukh Khan is. You know, fighting this new thing called the shadow. The shadow is the villain that's going around the whole of India and destroying India, and Shah Rukh has to fight it. Shah Rukh finds that Mr. India 2 is dead, and he left behind that bracelet. He works out a way to use the bracelet, and now he becomes the invisible man to fight the shadow. Soon they realize who the shadow is. It's Mogambo's son. Interestingly, Sridevi's in it. And it already, it says Sridevi done with AI is in the film. right? And it says, then they find the shadow is Mogambo's son, and his name is Vardhan. All right? Amrish Puri's grandson is called Vardhan. He picked it up there. Then finally the shadow is, Vardhan is beating Shah Rukh Khan, right? And Shah Rukh suddenly realizes that Mr. India, Anil is not dead. Anil comes back to help him. And together, Mr. India, the original Mr. India and the new Mr. India, they beat the shadow, they beat Vardhan. And then finally, Anil says to Shah Rukh, you are the new Mr. India, go, take it forward. And you know what it says at the end, right? There will always be a Mr. India. The person will change. Whenever there's a problem in India, a new villain like the shadow comes in, Mr. India will come. But it may be Shah Rukh, it may be Anil, maybe the Shah Rukh's son.
And how many marks did you give to that? This kind of
the morality of the legacy of Mr. India constantly coming back in new people and Superman's son and his grandson and everybody. Superman is always there. There's somebody else. I would give that idea 10 out of 10. That idea. So then you can carry on and on and on, you know.
And Masoom too, everybody is asking if you're going to make.
I am, but it's not but the story I said, okay, ChatGPT, what it says, Masoom, the next generation, give me the story. Apne Masoom, if you've seen it, what it amazed me was the role that Jugal Hansraj, now he's grown up. Both the parents have passed away. He's grown up and he grew up with a big problem that my father did not accept me when I was a child. When I was a child, and he constantly has this problem. And then it went on telling the story, and finally he gets married, he has his own son. When he has his own son, he gets closure because he realizes, now I understand why my father did that. And he finally gets closure when he gets his own son. It's a moral story. It took the problem of the little boy, Rahul in the film, Jugal Hansraj as a little boy, and carried it forward to when he was an adult and said he never got over that.
So it does seem to understand human emotions.
It understands morality, because all storytelling is a moral conflict. And remember, the ChatGPT can't watch video. The new Sora can, but ChatGPT cannot. So it's just picked it up from everything that's ever been written, either about Mr. India 2 or Masoom, right? And it's understood that we understand stories as moral conflicts. So it created a moral conflict in both villain, heroes. Hero dies, who is the next hero? How does India be saved in Mr. India 2? Why is this boy, when he grows up, has to find closure in his life? Yeah. These are things, he doesn't feel it.
Are you going to take it up?
Yeah, no, that's not I am making a sequel, not a sequel. I'm making a Masoom. I'm calling Masoom the next generation, but it's not the story.
Okay.
If I tell ChatGPT the story, everybody in the world, he'll give it to the world.
True. So to sum it up, you're looking forward to working with AI and ChatGPT, and you think it will just be another platform for people to create and maybe democratize filmmaking?
Definitely democratize filmmaking. Definitely take filmmaking to people that cannot afford to go to film school, cannot afford to buy a camera, cannot afford many things that you need to become a filmmaker, and cannot afford to, we're lucky. I'm lucky. Had people said yes to me when I was making Masoom. They could have said no. You would not have been interviewing me now. I've risked me struggling on the streets. Mujhe film banani hai 40 saal ke baad. So they don't need to wait for that. If they're good enough, they'll do it anyway and show the world.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.